One thing that I always like to do when I start my presentation is to try and demystify the term AI, because, I mean, there's so much craze around AI, what Gen AI is and all that. So I try to always demystify that. And that's the core behind what we do at Chatbots Africa and what inspired me actually to start Chatbots Africa, essentially to help businesses to do more with AI without even knowing what AI stands for, right? So that's what we do at Chatbots Africa. And the clicker. So my presentation will be slightly different. I'd like to demystify the terms, like I said, and get all of us on board to take away on the fly Chatbots Africa. So I'll essentially talk about the introduction. Let's just understand all the terms and the nuances and the likes. Then we have a little history, right? Before you get somewhere, you need to know where you are coming from. So we'll talk about the history of AI, the digital economy and all that. Then we talk about trends and some of the challenges and how we can overcome them. I'm looking forward to the next session where we'll have the conversation so I can also learn more about what we are doing and also see how AI can help us transform all of that. Then essentially, I'll talk about Chatbots Africa and the exciting things that we are doing around chat commerce and how you can use WhatsApp to collect payments across Africa. So forgive my fancy slides. Tech guys don't like to do things the right way, so forgive my unconventional slides. But I'm sure you all know what the digital business is, right? So far as you have a business that's running online, then that means that you have a digital business. But it's not enough to have a digital business, right? So you need to also be part of the digital economy. So majority of the times, I realize that people have websites, but they have a website, you go there, and the information over there is so outdated, right? How many of you agree with what I'm saying? So let's say you want to buy something, and I go to the shop, and what I see there is different from what is online, right? So although they would say they have a digital business because I have a website, I have Instagram, and I have WhatsApp and all that, it's not updated. So for you to be part of the digital economy means that you have to be very active on social media, online, on your e-commerce and the likes. And essentially, being part of that means you are contributing to the digital economy. And it's simple. If you are using the internet, you are using a mobile phone, then you can essentially be part of the digital economy. How exciting is that, right? We are in a new age and all that. So just historical context. So how many of you know of Amazon and eBay? And how many of you would be surprised to know that actually eBay launched somewhere in 1994, right? That was when eBay started. And we were here thinking that, oh, in 2020, let me have a website for my business and the likes. So in the 1990s, there was the internet revolution and there was e-commerce. And it was exciting because you could now not sell just in a corner store, but you can sell online and have your products online and anyone can see all of that. Then in the 2000s, we moved into the age of social media. So we had Facebook, then came Instagram, and it was very exciting because now you can sell to a newer generation, people who have smartphones. But like Solis says, some people are still also using feature phones. So what happens to people like that? That's a conversation that we'll also talk about. Then we went into 2010s where we had cloud computing and AI. So for those of us that are thinking that AI started in 2 years or 4 years ago, then I'm sure you now know that that's not the real case. But we had AI, and there were interesting things happening around AI, and it was quite basic, but was still interesting. Then in our current revolution, we have IoT, there's 5G, blockchain, then advanced AI solutions. Now you notice that we have AI-driven applications, then advanced AI solutions. That should tell you that AI moves away from just being able to do simple things like determining whether a text is by a human being or by a computer, to being able to generate content and do more. In fact, be able to do text-to-speech, be able to translate language from, let's say, English to Tree and the likes. Then we have IoT, which is exciting. How many of you know what IoT is? So that's Internet of Things, right? So now you're able to sync all of your devices. So imagine I shop from Amazon, and I shop from Amazon Prime, and I've run out of stock for vegetables. My fridge is able to automatically detect that I have run out of stock, be able to place an order and get the items delivered to me. These are some of the things that are happening in the Western world. And sadly, because of some challenges that we face in our part of the world, we are unable to utilize all of this. But why do I say all of this? I show this for us to first and foremost take a deeper insight to ourselves and understand what stage am I currently in my business? Am I still in the 1990s running a 2024 business where my business is only on e-commerce or on the internet, which probably might not be updated for over the past 4 years? Or am I making use of social media and mobile technologies, or am I part of the AI revolution that is happening? These are things that I want all of us to think about, to know the stage where your business is currently, whether you're running a 1990 business or a modern 2024 business. So I would want to go more into AI, since that is what I'm very passionate about. And let's look at how AI has also evolved over the years. So in the 1940s, that was when actually AI started. There was a man called Turing that wanted to run a test to be able to find out if you put a human being here and we put a computer here and I ask the question, can I be able to easily tell if this question was asked by a human being or by a computer? And that was when AI actually started. Then this sort of created a lot of interest in a lot of people because they felt that it was time for us to use computers and machine power to do more than just process information, but to generate new information. So in the 1950s and 70s, there was the DIFRA program where now governments started using AI to understand the World War and the likes, and they were able to use that to develop new weapons, new technologies, and the likes. And then we had the first AI winter. So there was the craze, then everyone realized that this thing is getting boring. What was next for AI? How can we do more than just using it for military and the likes? And that was when it slowed down. But then they realized that there was something more that could be done, and that was being able to develop expert systems. So an expert system is nothing more than just a system that is an expert. So they got experts around various domain areas to bring knowledge. So if, let's say, I'm a doctor for, let's say, a skin doctor, you get all of your data around that. If someone comes to me as a doctor, what's the information I give them and all of that, the questions I ask, then they put all of that into an expert system so that then now anytime you had queries, you can easily talk to the expert system and get all of that. But this was mainly based on rules and knowledge, right? So anytime there was anything outside of the rules, the system could not answer that. And this was sort of a setback for AI. But like technology always keeps evolving. And as a result, we went into the second winter phase where now they decided instead of us setting rules, let us rather have all the knowledge and leave AI to create their own rules and be able to further make decisions on that. And this was very exciting, but became boring as well. Human beings like change, and after a while, things become boring, right? Oh, please, am I right? Yeah, so because of that, we moved away from knowledge systems and went into machine learning. And with machine learning came big data. Now, one exciting thing about IT and all that is that, let me give you a simple secret. Don't let anyone bore you with big jargons and big words. They mean what they mean. So when you say big data, essentially is what? It's data that is what? Big. So then now, after we had fed systems with knowledge, we wanted them to now have essentially more data to be able to operate with. To be able to understand, okay, if I have data about ABSA, about MNotify, about Insano, how do I put all of this together and be able to easily query and run information? And that also made it possible for us to have machine learning with computing power increasing as well. We're able to have machine learning to now further learn all of this. Then beyond learning, be able to now operate based on that. And that's when we moved into the deep learning, where now cars, for example, can drive on their own because they understand how the road works. They have data around the streets and all of that. So they're able to operate on their own. Then we had the AlphaGo as well, developed by Google, which was able to defeat the champion in Alpha, right? So essentially, at this point, we're at a point where now AI could easily be able to not only learn, but take what it had learned and use that to sort of defeat the master. So imagine me being a student, I come to you, you teach me something, and eventually I beat you at your own game. How does that feel, right? And that is one of the reasons why people actually are very skeptical about AI and the direction that AI is going, because people believe that AI would get to a point where it would take over from human beings, just like in the Terminator movie that I'm sure you've all seen. But post deep learning, we went into generative AI, and that is when all of us actually got to know the power of AI. Because with deep learning, with generative AI came the likes of ChatGPT, text-to-speech, and all of those fancy new technologies that you have. But the future is at general artificial intelligence, right? And this is the stage where now AI is able to learn like a baby. So imagine you getting a toddler and giving them all of the information in the world, and you're able to process everything and develop new skills out of that, develop new memories out of that, and sort of create an entire new world out of that. And that is the future of AI. So once again, I would ask the question, when you look at your business, am I actually doing anything machine learning? Am I doing anything generative AI? Am I implementing AI in my business in any way possible? Remember, you're already a digital business if you have a social media page or you have a website. But the question you should ask yourself is, how am I now leveraging on AI, and which level of AI am I leveraging on for my business? So like I said, I like to sometimes just demystify some of these terms. So if you don't remember anything at all I said today, I would love that you remember at least what one of these things mean. And they are quite simple and straightforward. I hope you all agree with me on that. So when we talk about natural language processing, right, what is that? It is actually AI just being able to process language naturally. So assuming you are speaking to an AI system, then you are speaking to the AI system using natural language processing. There's also machine learning, there's computer vision, where you're able to use AI to sort of understand patterns and be able to make inferences from that. So a typical example, there's a large farm. I have some crops that are being infested. I can easily use a drone to run a scan, an aerial scan of my farm. And using AI and computer vision, I'm able to tell which plants have been affected and spray or fumigate those ones. So that's computer vision. Then artificial general intelligence, like I said, is the future of AI, where now computers can learn, where AI can learn and be able to generate new knowledge and be like human beings essentially and operate like human beings. And once that is embedded into robotics, we would have what we see on TV, where you have robots interacting with us, playing football with us and all of that. I believe that is exciting and will happen in the next few years, give or take no more than 10 years. You can mark my words for that. Or you guys don't believe that? Yes, but I'm looking forward to the day when we can speak with AI and speak with robots and sort of have regular conversations with them and be able to get more information from them and understand ourselves better using the data that they have gathered over the period. So, I mean, all of this for me is very exciting. I find this very exciting because I feel that currently, what is a global village? I can be in Ghana and be doing exciting things in Rwanda, in Cote d'Ivoire, and the likes. And all of this is because of the digital economy and also AI, right? So because of AI, you are able to sort of automate and be able to do a lot and even bridge the communication barrier or the language barrier that exists. So with AI, currently, you're able to do a lot around process automation. So if I run a business and I'm currently not automating any part of my business, then I'm running a 1990 business. How many of you agree with me? So for you to be able to really run your business, you need to look at the processes that you have and understand what are the things that are repetitive, how can I easily automate them, right? So the thing about AI and computers is that it's a garbage in, garbage out approach. So before you can be able to automate something, you also need to understand what are the processes that I have. What do I do to move from point A to point B? The power of AI and computer vision, what he does now is that there are cameras everywhere, but the cameras are not just recording. They are recording, they are counting, they are also watching the movement. So anytime there's a deviation from the movement, he's able to tell that, no, something is going wrong. And he gets an alert triggered and all of that. And beyond that as well, he knows that for every bag, there's this amount of, there's this quantity in the bag. So anytime the items are being restocked, automatically they are taking stock of the items. When it's running out as well, he's able to know and essentially restock. And that is the power of AI. We also have AI-driven products and services, which I'll talk about shortly with our chatbot solution. Then we have the usage of AI to make enhanced decisions. So for us that run very big businesses, sometimes we struggle to make certain key decisions. Or even for those that run small businesses. Imagine I have an e-commerce shop and I have people buying from all over Ghana. How am I able to know where to target the most? How do I know what time of the day people really buy a lot from me? Or how do I even know the best time to run the campaigns for my ads? How do I know how people react to the ads that I build? Or the keywords that make it easy for people to react to my products and to my ads as well. And that's the power of AI. With AI, you're able to sort of easily have this analytics and be able to run your business with a lot of information that originally would have taken you a lot of time to sort of understand and gather and the likes. And another exciting thing for me is the emerging technology. We have smart cities and we have smart cars. So I went to a friend's house and I realized that he's not at home almost every time, but when it's evening, his lights come on. In the morning, his lights automatically go off. And I was like, why do I always have to spend time to turn on my lights and turn off my lights? So I inquired with him and he made me understand that, you can easily do that just from your mobile phone. From your mobile phone, you can be able to open the gates in your house while you are even in the office. You can be able to turn on the TV, turn off the lights and all that. And that for me is very exciting because with the help of AI, you're able to easily say that, okay, every 5 p.m., this action should happen, right? And these are things that, trust me, we have experienced and we have seen, but for many of us, we didn't know they were AI, right? And it's essentially because we don't understand what AI is. And like I've said today, AI is very simple. It has to do with automation or natural language processing or computer robotics. So these things are fancy and nice to have. A lot of people have heard AI. They don't know how they can use it for their business and all that. So even if, say, I develop an AI solution, it's very difficult for me to get company A to utilize my tools because they don't even first and foremost have like the process structured. They don't also have the awareness that, so I could have done this with AI rather than doing it manually and the likes. So there's that lack of awareness and understanding. And there are very little conversations happening around AI and the things that we can do with AI. And this, for me, I believe is one of the challenges that we face as business because as much as we know that we have challenges, we don't know how to solve them and how to even use the power of AI to solve them without having to do them manually. And for those of us that are actually even in the digital economy and are actively partaking in the digital economy, it's difficult to integrate some of these things into your platforms. So assuming I have a CRM, there's a customer relationship management system, how do I easily integrate AI into that so that instead of me knowing that, okay, I have 50,000 customers and maybe customer number A likes their vegetables fresh and customer number B likes me to deliver their vegetables at 6 a.m. in the morning. How do I sort of integrate AI into all of my systems to be able to do that for me? How do I get my developers, for those of us who have like developers who work with, to build a website that can easily be able to interact with my customers in my absence? How do I do all of that? And the biggest frustration above all of that is internet access and infrastructure. So even if I want to use these fancy tools, right, and I have a Facebook page and I'm selling my business, how do I get someone in the remote part of the world to use my chatbots on Instagram and the likes to be able to transact a business with me? It's one of the biggest challenges that we have encountered, the fact that you need stable internet to be able to use some of these exciting tools that AI does. But with the power of telecommunications as well, we're able to leverage on the telecom infrastructure using SMS voice to deliver the power of AI to remote areas. So for me, I always see challenges, but I always see opportunity as well. And it's important for us to have plans and strategies to overcome some of these challenges. So the biggest opportunity or the biggest strategy that I always talk about is collaborations and bilateral partnerships. So the term partnership as well sometimes get used wrongly. So sometimes you see people who are your customers and you still call them as partners, right? But for a customer to be a partner, there has to be a bilateral relationship. So when I say collaborations and bilateral relationships, how do we leverage on each other's strength? How do I work with, for example, Insano to make sure that if they have payment platforms all across Africa, we are able to integrate and ride on their presence in all other countries to operate and to run our businesses and the likes. So that is the first thing that we need to look at as SMEs and as businesses. How do we sort of form a win-win relationship, win-win collaborations with the partners and with our vendors and with our customers? Then there's one quote that I always say anywhere I go because of the power of AI. Because there's this thing about AI replacing humans and taking people's jobs and all of that. And I always say that if you're an SME and you want to be in the current industrial revolution, then you need to think seriously about upscaling and rescaling. I'm sure all of us have heard about upscaling, but don't know what rescaling is. So there's a quote that says that the 21st century illiterate is not someone who cannot read and write. It's someone who can learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that is the age that we are in currently with AI. AI is moving very fast. Like Solis said, in the past few years, in the past 2 decades or so, we had several revolutions, and it's going to keep on going like that, right? And the guy who used to be on a plane, on an helicopter, and take aerial views from their camera would be replaced by the drone operator, right? So as a photographer or as a camera guy, how do you learn how to operate a drone? And that is what upskilling and reskilling is about. As a business owner, how do I then now use AI to understand my business very well, knowing that there's nothing new under the sun? So I have competitors and the likes. How do I use AI to learn what others are doing? How do I use AI to understand my industry, to gather all of the data and the stats that I have? So essentially, you upskill by learning new skills, but you reskill by seeing the various improvements that have come on the skill. Because how to use, for example, ChatGPT should be something basic that every business owner should know. Why? Because you can use ChatGPT for content creation. You can use that to understand your market, for data analysis and all of that. Essentially, I think a lot has been said about engaging policy makers, but I think one mistake that, for example, we do as tech guys is we like to sit down in our corner and build our own things, but I believe that it's always good for us to come out and engage with stakeholders and also policy makers as well. And data protection is also very key, and data privacy. So until recently, a lot of people didn't know that there was something called the Data Protection Act, and every digital business has to actually be registered with the data protection, right? So if you want to use AI, one thing you should be very particular about is data privacy and data protection. So anytime you are building solutions, or anytime someone is building solutions for you, the very first thing you need to ask them is, how are they ensuring that the data on your platform is secure? And it's not just they giving you fancy terms like, I have encrypted the data and all that. I mean, we do that sometimes, but you've been able to go down with them and ask them, okay, so how can we make sure that this doesn't go out there? Can you show me what data protection looks like? When you go to the data protection guys, they have this set of rules that you need to follow whenever you are developing an app or you are doing any solution that will be online. It's up to us to be able to educate ourselves and know some of these things, so we are able to ensure that we are using best practices for data protection and security as well. And essentially, being able to attend workshops and seminars like this would help you to upskill and reskill and learn more skills as well. So for me, I believe that there are several opportunities. We live in a very exciting time, right? There are several opportunities, and it's up to us for us to learn how to leverage digital tools. So it's not enough to be on Facebook. You also need to be on TikTok as well, right? It's not enough to be on TikTok to just watch videos. You need to be on TikTok and understand how the world works, right? And I'll share some interesting stats on why I believe that every SME has to be on TikTok. Another thing as well we need to do is to engage incubators, engage accelerator programs and hubs. Now, by engaging some of these guys, you not only learn what is happening in Ghana, but learn also what is happening around the world. So I was part of a Google for AI program that happened sometime last year. And one thing that was very surprising for me is the fact that until then, I never knew that you could easily translate English to Twi and back using other tools aside Google's API. So there are actually people who are currently working on translating, being able to have data models that can easily translate English to any local language. And if you are sitting in your own corner, you might think, oh, AI isn't for Africa, AI isn't for Ghana. But these are things that are actually happening. And it's for us to be able to attend, most importantly, visit innovation hubs, see some of the innovations that are happening over there, and see how we can leverage on some of these tools for our businesses. We always say that Google is building for the West, but trust me, there are Africans that are building solutions for Africans, but until we are part of the conversation, we never get to know about that. And essentially, I know I've spoken a lot about adoption of AI technologies for our businesses, and we also need to build for Africa and not just build for our communities or for Ghana. So for any solution that we build, we always have to build with the global mindset in mind, that how can I build this so that someone in Kenya could use the solution that I have. So in building our solutions, we need to look at building multifaceted solutions as well. So at this point, I would want to talk about Chatbots Africa because I'm sure you guys have seen the logo down there multiple times and what we do. So essentially, during COVID, I realized that there were lots of transactions happening on social media. And I, at a point, wanted to buy food on Instagram. And I sent a hi, and it took the guy like over 30 minutes to get back to me just to tell me that, oh, this is the price of this item. And what frustrated me the most was when I said, okay, I would like to purchase, say, fried rice, he then asked me to send the money before the item is delivered to me. But I was like, if you don't trust me, then why should I also trust you? You to send me the food, let me get the money to you. But how many of you believe that this is a genuine concern that we all face, right? There are instances where we buy items, the items don't get delivered to us, but we pay for them and vice versa. So on the back of this, we developed Chatbots Africa, and the idea was that we wanted to make it easy for anyone running a social commerce business to be able to make payments, accept logistics, and make informed decisions about their business. So if, for example, you had an Instagram shop, how are you able to tell that I have made this amount of money over the month, right? Or if you run a Facebook shop and your page gets hacked, how do you recover from that? I had a friend whose Instagram page got hacked, and she had over 500,000 followers. She was selling jewelries and the likes, and instantly lost all of her customers and had to sort of restart her business. So for us at Chatbots Africa, we believe that these were the main pillars for us coming up with this solution. And the idea is very simple, that you go to Instagram and you get high from a prospect, automatically they get to know all of the items that you have. So assuming I run an Instagram shop that sells kaftans, I can easily go get a customer, come, send hi, they get the pricing, they choose the kaftan they want to buy, they make payments, and the beautiful part of it is that they can share their location, then the item gets delivered to them without me, the business owner, being involved in that whole communication process. And that is what we do at Chatbots Africa, right? Essentially, we believe that we want you, the business owner, to focus on doing what you know how to do best, which is running your business and making sure that you build beautiful kaftans or build beautiful products that you have while we take care of the engagements and the communications using the power of AI. So essentially, anyone who wants to be able to use AI, we help them to integrate AI into their existing solutions. We help them to use AI to do more than just generate content. We help them to use AI to understand how customers are what customers are saying about their business and the likes. So essentially, this is the flow for how we help customers. We help you with the setup of AI, the chatbots. We help you with consultancy as well to be able to understand if your business is actually ready for AI, right? Because if you are operating a business that is in the 1990 sector, then essentially you are not ready for AI. So we help you to become AI ready. We help with sales, marketing, payments, logistics, and after customer service. Because we realize that in Ghana, a lot of people don't care about what the customers think about their product. So say I buy something from Instagram or I buy something online. Chances are that the business owner will not call me to ask me what I think about the product, right? But with the power of AI, you're able to automate all of this. And for us, the future is very exciting. And why I say the future is exciting is that we are looking at doing more than just e-commerce and empowering businesses to run their e-commerce channels, not just in Ghana, but across Africa. We are looking at being able to use the power of AI to bridge the communication barrier so that I can be in Ghana and speak English and still be able to engage someone speaking Swahili in Kenya or the likes, right? Without me being able to speak Swahili. Imagine that. You pick up a phone and you're speaking English, but the person on the other side is speaking Swahili or French and the likes. And that is what we want to do with the power of AI, which is super exciting for us. And before I end, I'd like to leave you with these stats, like I promised. And stat number one is that the internet usage in Africa is currently growing. And although we don't have the infrastructure fully set, trust me, in the next few years, give or take 3 to 5 years, internet should be everywhere.